Welcome to That Generic Tech Podcast. I'm Timothy Matthews.
I'm Vinny Masiti.
And we are here to talk about tech. Lots of tech on a special weekend edition.
Ooh. and it's nice outside, too.
It is? I don't know.
Yeah, it's very nice outside.
I'm sorry. I'm going to apologize for last week. I was completely sick. I was completely unusable. I was like literally a vegetable watching Star Trek The Next Generation while I was trying to recover from this illness. And it was like, it's the worst thing, being sick.
Yeah, not fun, eh?
No. So that's why we missed last week. But we're here. We're ready. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of stuff to cover. And
yes, we do.
I can't wait. One thing I want to mention before we get into some stuff is that if you have any questions, comments, or you just hate us, send us an email at tgtp1@hotmail.com. That's our email address. We look at the stuff that we get, and we take things personally or not.
Yeah.
So no, just send us whatever you want, and we'll read it, and we'll look at it, and we'll appreciate it.
Go screw yourself, internet. If you don't like it, go screw yourself, internet.
Awesome. All right, so
what are we doing? Because I'm lost. Like it's the weekend. We're doing this podcast. So we have a limited time frame today.
This is like, I don't know, like where do we start here? Because it's like we can start with Windows, we can start with Android, we can start with, let's start with Windows. Windows 8 will support Retina class displays. So I guess this is in response to the iPad 3?
I don't know if it's in direct response to the iPad 3, but I guess they're saying, whoever does make a high-resolution display, the Windows OS is obviously going to support it. So I think that's all they're really trying to say on that one. I don't think it's a big surprise, really. I mean, do you think it's a big surprise that it's going to be able to support that big of a display? Or that,
No, it just, I guess they had to, sort of say, like, because, like, the advantage right now with the iPad, the new iPad, let's say, is that the screen is amazing and whatever. And Windows is about to launch, Microsoft's about to launch a new OS, and they don't want to be inferior right out of the gate. So I guess they just had to release this press release saying, we can do this, and we can rival the Apple's iPad screen, and it'll be amazing, and everything will scale, and because it's an HTML5, and life is good. So, I mean...
Yeah. It's Microsoft's job to make everything scale and fit, right? Because the hardware maker is just a hardware maker, and their job is to provide the screen and the technology, and Microsoft's job is to provide the software and the operating system. Because Microsoft doesn't make hardware; they're not a hardware maker; they're purely a software company. And they're just saying, our OS does support Retina display class display resolution.
Exactly, and they're really trying to just not, feel like they're launching an inferior product out of the gate. So again, the minimum resolution is 1024 by 768, which is something like 720p. But let's just wait for this thing to come out, and let's see if any hardware manufacturers actually make something that's comparable to the Retina display, because I don't know if they can with the current technology, because Apple kind of patented everything. But anyway, that's another story.
Well, yeah, we'll see. I'm curious to see what kind of hardware is going to come out too. I don't know up to this point, but you know what? A lot of people are saying the Retina display is not very useful. I mean, it's useful up front, close, but they're saying don't even compare it to like watching a H.D T.V. like a big size screen. You know what I mean? They're just saying it's not the same, because to really appreciate the sharpness of the Retina display, you gotta hold it like a tablet and kind of close to your face. It's an article I was reading, and they were doing a comparison versus having the screen up to your face, like close to I forget how many inches away. I think maybe 8 inches or something like that, or maybe 12 inches. But they're saying that don't compare the Retina display. That's something that's close to your face. That's something that's like meters away from your face. Let's say.
I know, but I'm just saying. But I don't know if I would really like take that as like you can't compare it. It's because you can compare it because a 1080p TV that's really far away, you can't read it up close because it's 1080p. The fact that the iPad has better resolution than a 1080p TV is true, no matter how you compare it, and it does have a better resolution. So I mean, like you can watch 1080p content and it'll look better than it would be on the TV. Because even if you hold it the same meter away, let's say same distance away from the TV, the picture should be crisper on the other one. You won't be able to see it because it's so far away.
Yeah, no,
but
you're not going to be able to. Yeah, but that's the thing. You're not able to appreciate the iPad's display far away. You know what I mean? But
it's not meant for that anyway.
Yeah, because it's a bigger screen. You see everything at a further distance, pretty much.
Was that a CNN article?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was.
There you go.
I think it was. And they're like I don't want to say it. So. What was I going to say now? I was going to say something important, but I forgot. But yeah, no, I mean I don't think it's they're going to be supporting high resolution displays. That's it. I mean, how could they not? They
have to.
Everything is getting better, Tim. Everything's just going to keep getting better, and
it gets better and better.
It's a progression. That's all it is.
Can't support 800 by 600 all the time.
No.
Cool.
Why would you want to do that anyway?
I know. Yeah. So I mean, good on Windows, I guess. Well, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Well, it's all about the hardware at this point right now. I think. Yeah. We have to see something.
That's all good. So also in other PC news, HP restructures merging the PC and the printer units together.
So I guess this whole fiasco was all for nothing back in the day where they said, yeah, we're shutting down everything. That's it. By consumer, we're only an enterprise providing company. We're going to provide services. And now, that was tossed in the garbage. They made some restructuring changes, and now they're merging the PC and the print. I think it makes sense because that's the core of their consumer business, right? Is PCs and printers. HP printers are the best printers in my opinion. I think they're
one
the
of the
best
good ones.
Yeah.
They're one of the
I don't buy any other printer other than HP, and I hate printers. I can't stand printers. But whenever I do buy a printer, I make sure that it's an HP because I've dealt with brothers, Panasonic printers, Canons, and there's always something that goes wrong with them. HP, I find, have minimal amount of problems when compared to the other brands. But no, I think that's probably a smart move. I mean, that's consumer based. Consumer based PCs and printers. Have them in one unit, and I think that's a good thing.
It is a good thing, and the more divisions talk to each other, the better the products are going to be. Even if the PC doesn't really it does kind of interface with the printers, but I mean if they sort of learn from each other and sort of have synergy, then I mean it's all good. I don't see anything really wrong with this except for some people are going to lose their jobs and whatever. But that's a company trying to focus a little bit more on the core. That's more of a consumer thing that they're trying to focus on.
Yeah, and I think it's fine. Like you said, people might lose jobs. It's that's always a sad thing, but that's the reality of life, right?
Yeah.
So, but I think it's a good thing. The best thing that HP's done so far to date was making a universal print driver.
Say that again?
The best thing that HP has done so far to date was making a universal print driver.
You like that universal print driver?
I love that universal print driver. It always worked for me.
I think it's annoying when you try to share a stupid printer. And it has to create a new printer. It's way overcomplicated for nothing.
Really?
I think.
I don't know. I install that driver, and it works, and I share.
You're talking about from like a PC to printer, like a printer connected to a PC, and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm talking about like, you're at a company and you have a server that's a printer server that you need to share printers.
Oh yeah, but I also have
super annoying.
I have a print server that has around 7 or 8 different printers on there. They all have their own drivers except one has a universal print driver, and it worked fine.
I don't know. It adds more complexity for just something. I don't know. That's my personal opinion.
Well, you know what, Tim? Your personal opinion sucks.
There you go. Send hate mail to Vinny.
I said it. Yeah, no, I think it's a good thing.
I guess. Well, the synergy, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no point in really having a... Especially when the print industry is starting to have a little crisis there, where people are starting to get tablets instead of like buying printers and printing everything all the time, because printing is expensive.
Printing is expensive.
It's so expensive. It makes no sense.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
But
I think it's going to be it's still a long way from having no paper.
I guess.
I would love to see it. I would love to see no paper.
I would love to.
However, it's going to be a long time. I think it's going to be a long time before we see that. Very long time.
But, oh well. Cool. So, what should we do now? Should we go into Apple? We should go into Apple.
Do we have to?
Okay, we could talk about RIM.
No, let's talk about Apple.
Okay. So, there's this rumor that was like recently coming out saying the iPhone is going to get a 4.6-inch display and it's going to be still Retina and everything else. And I think it's complete baloney.
Me too. I didn't think it was true.
Apple doesn't really care about what other people do. That's how they made the iPhone to begin with. Because, okay, the argument here is that right now the iPhone 4S is 3.5 inches in screen, but it also has a display resolution of 960 by 640, which is, it has 326 pixels per inch, which is the highest amount of pixels per inch on any display. So that's why it looks crazy. Meanwhile, the new iPad's resolution is it's a 9.6 inch 9.6, that's something like that. Anyway, it's 9 point something inch screen with a 2048 by 1536 pixels resolution, which is 264 pixels per inch. So they're comparing the ratio between the iPhone has more pixels per inch than what the iPad has, the new one. So they're saying that if they wanted to increase the screen size without destroying the aspect ratio, let's say, of how it's for app developers to not get to develop a new screen size, because that's the problem with fragmentation with Android. There's all these screen sizes and you have to sort of adapt. That they're saying that 4.6 inches and you can retain the same resolution. So, and that means the app developers don't have to really scale up. I think it's complete baloney. Mm-hmm. Because the reason why they're sticking with the 3.5 inch screen is that regular people, it's how your thumb goes across the device. Your thumb goes across the device very easily on, let's say, an iPhone compared to I'm just trying to find the Android, the device that I have here. No, can't find it.
How big is the screen on the HTC?
Which one? My HTC? It's like it's actually 4.5 inches.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
I didn't know it was that big.
But it's big, and the thing is that it's the whole thumb going across. How you can go across the device like this. It's very easy. The other one, it's kind of bigger, and you have to go around. You'll have more trouble using your thumb to do stuff. So that's why it's more of a it's more of a ergonomic factor. And to be honest with you, Apple doesn't really care if Samsung has a 5-point-something-inch screen phone, even though it sold 5 million. They don't care, because they're Apple and they're selling more than what Samsung's done anyway. And there's no there's no droop in sales to say that they need to upgrade the screen size because they don't have to. They don't have to. The sales are still off the charts. They still keep selling out. There's still lines in China and throwing eggs at freaking stores so they can buy it. Like whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I didn't believe it. As soon as I saw the article, I'm like, no, there's no way they're going to be doing that. They're going to stick with their 3.5 inch screen, or maybe a 4 inch. Who knows? Maybe it's going to be a little bigger.
I don't think they just want to avoid fragmentation. All the apps work well on this screen. There's no one that's really complaining, saying, "Oh, I wish I had a bigger screen on my iPhone."
No, I to be honest, I like bigger screens. I just like bigger screens. That's it.
Have you tried a Galaxy Note?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
I did. I was there.
Okay.
That's too big.
It's funny. I was in the subway here in Montreal, and I'm there, and I'm like looking around, whatever, and there's this lady, and she comes up with this big ass thing, and she's there, and she's like, "Yeah, I got a Galaxy Note." And I'm looking at the thing and I'm like, what is that? It's like comic relief for a phone. It's so huge. It makes no sense. It's like, it's for people who can't see probably. Like, it's just like they have the big buttons there. Like, this is a 2 button. This is like, those oversized phones that you can see in like those phone stores that have like huge ass buttons and they're super analog and you have to press the buttons? Or those big ass calculators.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about? That's what it looked like to me. I'm like, this thing is just, it looks stupid. It's so big.
It's 5.3 inches, right?
It's something like that. It's ridiculous. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, you can't fit this in your pocket. You look like a real. Sorry,
I think it's a little too big. My Windows phone, my Samsung Focus, is a 4-inch screen. I think it's fine. I want to get a 4.6 inch screen. I think 4.6. Yeah, the 4. I think that's the Nokia Lumia's. The Lumia 900 there. I think that's the screen size for it, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know. I want to see it first before I buy it.
What, the Nokia Lumia 900?
The 900, which is available for 4.3 inch screen. So it's a bit bigger than what I have right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's. I'm not saying big screen sizes are okay. Are not okay. I'm just saying, like for Apple, they really don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care. They're like, whatever.
They don't care, and I don't care about Apple.
There you go. 4.3 AMOLED screen, which is it's pretty cool. It's very interesting.
Yeah. I think it's a nice looking phone, but I'm still on the fence about getting an Android or sticking with the Windows phone.
I'd stick with the Windows phone. Android's not that. I don't know.
I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna check them out. I'm gonna see what they got to offer, and I guess I'll just make my decision. But the Lumia, I think, is a nice looking phone, man.
It is a nice looking phone.
It's a nice looking phone.
It's
awesome.
Different.
That's what I like about it. It's a different design.
And you can pre-order it for $99 for 16 gigs in Rogers.
That's a phenomenal price.
$99. Wow.
That's a phenomenal price. Anyway, I hope it does well.
Yeah, that I hope too. It's a Rogers exclusive. Oh well, cool. So yeah, that's that. And then also there's another article from CNET which is awesome. Is that the new iPad not quite running circles around the iPad 2. Because they're saying that the new iPad's A5X processor is not running things faster than the iPad 2's processor,
it's running a little faster. It's running a little bit faster.
It's normal.
I know. I don't.
It's no, but the thing is that I don't get it. It's like, did anyone read the thing? It's quad-core graphics because they have a lot bigger resolution. They have a lot more pixels to push on the screen than what the iPad 2. If you put the iPad 2's A5 processor in the new iPad with the screen, it'll run super slow.
Yeah, their performance. I saw the benchmarks. Their performance is almost par to par with the iPad, the new iPad, coming out on top by like a hairline. But when it comes to the graphics, obviously it's outperforming it big time.
That's it.
But this is what Apple does. This is what they do. Their new products are never ever that much better than their older products. It's their incremental increases. But you know, you're not buying the iPad 3 for anything other than a Retina display. That's what you're buying it for.
No, not necessarily. Also LTE and
I forgot about that.
The voice dictation, which is really good, really good.
I don't know if people are gonna be lining up for the voice dictation, but I think it's more for the LTE and the Retina display that people would want to buy it. That's if you own an iPad 2, right?
Right. If you have an iPad 2, I wouldn't go wait online right now unless you really want it.
Yeah, unless you really really want it and you're that much of a fanboy. But if you already have an iPad 2, you're not losing much. You're not losing much.
No, you're not losing much.
For maybe the resolution.
I would wait for the next year's iPad. But if you're coming from an iPad 1, go for it. Even if you're getting a new iPad, it's still better than the iPad 2. But anyway, it's just the whole A5X versus A5. It's based on graphics because of the screen resolution, not because of it's not processing anything faster. It's based off what it can push on the screen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, don't panic, people who got iPad 3s, because it's still better. It's still better. Yeah. So I mean, that's it for Apple news. That's it. We're cutting the cord. That's it.
Good.
No more.
Good.
You happy?
Good. Yes.
Let's talk about Sega. So Sega. So it's funny. I got these. I read this report and it says like Sega slammed with 7.1 billion yen loss and kills games and shrinks company and everything. And then I'm like there before the show and we're like lose 7.1 billion. Okay, it's got something to talk about. They are shrinking the company. They're holding production on other titles and they're going to stop producing certain titles and they're going to restructure everything. But I did the conversion between 7.1 billion yen loss to what US dollars is. It's 86 million. Mind you, 86 million is still a lot, but it's not like billions of dollars or being lost here.
Yeah.
It's 86 million. If we were to compare that to RIM, which is coming up, RIM this quarter lost 125 million. So anyway, we'll talk about RIM later, but I'm actually kind of sad that Sega is not doing well because they were good in the 90s. It's just that this is an example of a company that just stuck with their stuff that they made in the 90s and try to just live off it and not really advance anything.
Yeah, like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
When I think Sega, I just think Sonic because I think that's all they ever really had was Sonic the Hedgehog.
They had Phantasy Star Online, which was I was a fan of, but never really, Monkey Ball. What else is there? Apparently, Football Manager is really crazy in Europe. Because it's like fantasy soccer. Which they'll go nuts over. But Sega just needs to get new people that understand gamers of today and actually push something that is actually good for today. The people that should have bought OMG Pop, the company that did Draw Something that was purchased for $180 million. It should have been Sega. Why aren't Sega looking at these new companies that are making these awesome games and start getting them involved into what Sega is? Because they got to do something.
Or maybe Nintendo should just buy Sega.
No, then why would Nintendo buy Sega?
I don't know. I think
it makes zero sense.
I think that'd be cool.
Whatever. I don't know. in this day and age, when you're just a game developer, you need to start looking into other. You need to understand how the whole landscape has changed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's no longer you make a game towards a console and you have agreement and you have licensing deals and you sell your game for $60.
Yeah,
that's not the only route, and that's sad to say. That's the route that they're taking, and even with like they're doing downloadable games, but Sonic the Hedgehog 4 was not the best thing ever either. You know, I was excited for Sonic the Hedgehog 4, but I played it and it was like whatever.
Because we're past that. We're past it. You know, it's always. I have a soft spot for the retro games that I grew up with, right?
It's nostalgia.
And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play it, and I can't play it more than 10 minutes, unless it's Super Mario. I'm sorry, I could play the shit out of that game. Still.
Me too.
Super Mario. That's the only game that I will spend hours on Super Mario. When I sit down and I have some time, it doesn't matter. Super Mario 1, 2, 3, especially 3. I will just sit there.
3 was just.
I'll just sit there, and I will play the shit out of that game. Excuse my language, internet. But
no, like I don't know. It's just you know what they have to do? They have to make new IPs. They have to make new intellectual property that is relevant to today and be the company that they were in the 1990s and start making new games that will appeal new people or will appeal people, the younger generation of today, because the younger generation of today will not give a crap about Sonic the Hedgehog.
Unfortunately not.
Unfortunately not, because it's not relevant. Look what Nintendo did with Mario, right? They keep innovating the franchise. It's no longer, a platform that you go from one end to the other. Like they evolved that concept into, they made Mario into like the 3D standard of how a 3D game should work.
You know what though?
Yeah.
You know what though? Okay, they changed Mario a lot. Mario's changed, and he's still very relevant in today's gaming.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
Absolutely.
It's just nuts. He's still so relevant in today's gaming. He's still an icon of gaming. Sonic the Hedgehog, who was a huge icon of gaming, he disappeared because Sega didn't do anything with him. But Nintendo, they kept changing Mario and finding new ways to play, and then they go back to the side scroller. Okay,
it's still good.
And it's still good, but they added 2 to 4 player in the same screen, which we're all like, yeah, finally.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like when the new Super Mario Bros. Came out, it was like, whoa, you could play 4 players on the same screen on the same level. I was like, and it was something simple like that, and I bought a Wii for that game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had bought a Wii just for that game.
Seriously,
I still have just the game. Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's interesting, right? It's because like Sega never really capitalized on that. It's like they just try to shell out a game, but they're just making a game. They're not actually understanding that, there's a connection between the player and the game. And like for example, new Super Mario Bros. Wii.
Yeah.
I literally wasted. I had a bunch of friends over. It was like a couple's night. And I was here with my girlfriend and another friend of mine with his girlfriend. And we started playing around 10 o'clock p.m. We finished at 4 a.m. playing that game. Because it's just fun killing each other. It's reinventing stuff. That's what like Nintendo does well, and that's why Mario is still relevant. Sonic the Hedgehog, it's still running from one end to the other. Their innovation was making that really fast.
Yeah.
And they haven't evolved Sonic the Hedgehog from that.
Yeah, no, they unfortunately they're not. They are not Nintendo, right? Nintendo's
look, Mario Kart. That revolutionized the whole arcade style of racing.
I was the best at that game,
and it's still relevant today. They're still selling millions of copies of Mario Kart 7 for the 3DS.
Of course, that's another game. That's another classic Nintendo game that I will play for hours.
Yeah, it's just fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
They like to reinvent stuff. Anyway, it's sad that someone needs to go to Sega and just like start shaking the executives,
or just start slapping people around.
Slap people around.
Tim, by the way, Tim, I lost.
You lost your Tim Hortons?
I lost. Not happy.
Yeah, have you won yet on the air?
I don't think so.
Did you win last week when when I was sick?
I don't.
Did you win ever?
I can't remember.
Did you win ever?
Yes. I won free coffees and free cookies.
Oh, okay, cool.
No cars yet, though.
No cars. Damn it. Awesome. So I mentioned RIM, and RIM, they actually finally understand that they're not doing well. the CEO, pretty much Tim Hines.
Yep.
Hines pretty much said that, yeah, we have a problem. And they're looking at BlackBerry 10 to revitalize everything. But also, what was interesting about their earnings call. So just to go over the earnings call, they earned $4.2 billion in revenue, but they still lost $125 million. So that means that there's still some cutting to do in terms of executives, and they're getting rid of a bunch of high-level executives, like the COOs and CFOs. Like they're a bunch of everything. So a bunch of people are resigning, and actually Jim Balsillie, as who was former CEO and is now was an advisor, has officially stepped down. Yeah, as well. Yeah, he has. So they're going to cut up a bunch of people in that respect, but they're also starting. What I like about what Mr. Hines is saying is that they are going to Torsten Hines. What did I say before?
Yeah, that's I was trying to remember his name. I'm like, what was that really his name? It's Torsten Hines.
Torsten Hines. Yeah. Yeah. He is starting to understand that they need to look back at the roots. So during the earnings call, they said, well, we're going to focus more on enterprise IT, which is what you are. That is your bread and butter. So I found that very encouraging. But then a bunch of blogs said, they're abandoning the consumer market.
Yeah, and I was like, what? Like, really?
It just doesn't make sense.
So what? Their London prototype is out the window, because that to me was purely a consumer thing.
I wouldn't say that. I would say more that they're thinking more about how the management software. They're thinking about more revitalizing that compared to just focusing on phones. Okay, you know what I'm saying, like incorporate, and that also ties in with the report the past 2 weeks that RIM is looking to like for iOS developers. Yeah. Which is what, if you're RIM and your basic bread and butter is enterprise IT, because enterprise loves you. Yeah. And enterprise wants to keep you around. You need to you need to make that more important, more relevant to the enterprise. And the enterprise is now starting to adopt more iOS devices, more Android devices. So if you incorporate your management solution to that as well, you're going to sell more licenses of BlackBerry Enterprise Server, which will then you can still work on getting your BlackBerry devices into the market as well. Yeah. So they're trying to make the BlackBerry into more of an enterprise brand. But that doesn't mean that they're losing sight of consumers.
Okay, because some of the blogs I was reading and articles was like that they're getting the F out. No, that's what they made it seem like. Yeah, and so I was like, really? Like that, just out of the blue like that? Okay, I understand that they know that they're in trouble, but like, really? Yeah, and RIM actually responded to that, and then their full statement was the claim that RIM has said it will withdraw from the consumer market is wholly misleading. Willis, we announced plans to refocus our efforts on our core strengths and on our enterprise consumer base. We are very explicit that we will continue to build on our strengths to go after targeted consumer segments. We listed BlackBerry Messenger as well as the security and manageability of our platform amongst our strengths. So they're focusing more on that stuff, not on, they're not trying to beat the iPhone. And, what started with that was that it started with the BlackBerry the Torch. Not the Torch. Not the Torch. What was it? The Storm. That was the first phone that they started
started to go into the more focus into the consumer market than what they were before.
Which one? The BlackBerry.
The BlackBerry Storm was the one. It was the first full screen touchscreen BlackBerry.
Oh, the disaster phone.
The disaster phone. The one that made the whole screen into a button. Exactly. That's where it all started. That they were starting to go into consumer, and they thought they were a consumer company because they wanted to beat the iPhone. But that's
if they would have done that right, Tim, they wouldn't have been. They wouldn't have been here. They would have done that right the first time and not make a stupid. What is that? Anyway.
The thing is that their strength is enterprise, and what they need to do is they need to fix the enterprise. And right now, I can tell you, the enterprise is not. It's starting to get fed up with the BlackBerry solution because everyone's going to move to ActiveSync. So I mean, if they get their BlackBerry management software running, and
that's us, baby. ActiveSync, baby.
ActiveSync. If they get the right management tools in place for all devices, then they can build up from that. You know, they can't just rely on being a phone manufacturer in this day and age.
Yeah, no, it's good that they want to. You'd have to know your strength. You have to know your strength, I think, and just have to put 100% onto that, and just get it done right, man. Just. Sometimes the first good move they did was they got those two people out of there those two CEOs,
Balsillie and what's his face,
Lazaridis or whatever his last name is. Yeah. You know, and I just like I say, every episode is I hope they come out of this, and I hope they do something good, and I hope they come out with a good product. And if they want to focus their strengths more on what they were and go back to the roots, good. More power to them. Get it done right, and then yeah. So I mean, good for them.
More power to them.
More power to them. They're a good old Canadian company, so hopefully they'll do well. And yeah, but I found it weird, Tim. I'm like, okay, so that's it. They're pulling an HP.
No. You know, they're focusing on what they know best and where they have a stranglehold on, which makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah. That's it. So, pretty much, that is the news for this week.
Is it really?
There's also one thing. One of my personal favorites. This is an awesome Ars Technica article, which God bless this man. Okay, so what happens is that. There is this company called 2Cloud, and they're providing. They want to provide desktop as a service, so desktops on demand. What that means is that it's a virtual. Like, I don't know if Vinny, if you heard about OnLive's desktop solution. So it's an app that you download, and you can pretty much just do virtual desktop to a Windows 7 machine, and it's free. You can go connect to it, no problem. Life is good. And you can have run Office and the whole shebang. So it's pretty cool. The problem is inside baseball here for all the people out there that's more consumer based and not into enterprise IT. But Microsoft sucks at licensing. They are the worst company for licensing. And what Microsoft does for licensing, you need like a bunch of licenses in order to do that. So it's something called the client access licensing, and there's also a virtual desktop access licensing, and there's all these costs. And what happens is that the enterprise community, the people that want to start offering desktops as a service, which is something really, really valuable to the end customer, is actually getting pretty ticked off at Microsoft, because Microsoft went and said OnLive is violating the Microsoft licensing. So pretty much they're doing it pirating, more or less, for lack of a better term. But OnLive is pirating Windows 7 and providing it as a service to end users. But Microsoft hasn't done anything about it. So this guy, Gries Buell.
Is it Buell? Yeah, I think it's Buell.
Buell, who is a software executive at 2Cloud. He is launching a service called Desktops on Demand, which you can sign up now for the beta, which will be available in 32 days from now. And he will provide desktop as a service without Microsoft's blessing, without Microsoft's license agreement. And he is daring Microsoft to sue him, which is good on him because if anyone spent an hour trying to understand how enterprise licensing works with Microsoft, you will get an instant migraine and you'd want to gouge your eyes.
Unless you're in a school industry. Because
even at that,
the licensing for the Microsoft changed the way they were really bad at the school licensing. Okay, and then they changed it. I had a meeting with the guy from Microsoft because we needed to renew our software agreement, and they completely changed it. And it goes by number of employees that actually work there full time, and it doesn't matter the number of computers you have. It's called a campus level agreement. And so I mean, like, let's say there's 80 employees. It's 80 times a certain price, and
like
it's a dirt cheap price for schools. Microsoft's dirt. It's crazy cheap. I can't believe, like, I see the prices and I'm like, damn.
But it doesn't work for a company though. That's the thing.
It doesn't. It's not the same thing as for a company, but. Who knows? Maybe they're going to be changing the way they license things now that there's a lot of virtualization happening, and because they're still stuck in their old licensing model. And who knows? Maybe they're not going to do anything about it because maybe they're going to be changing it. But you know what? I hope Microsoft does sue this guy.
Why?
Because he sounds like a jerk.
No, I swear to God, if they try to sue him, it's going to open up a big can of worms, because they're letting OnLive do whatever it wants, and then after this guy is doing the same thing, and they're going to sue him. It makes no sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I remember Microsoft. I read an article, and they said that OnLive they are pirating our software, and I don't know if they're going to do anything about it. I honestly think they're going to be doing something about their licensing for virtual.
I hope so.
There's going to be some sort of agreement, because why are they going to? Microsoft is not going to throw away potential clients in business.
Well, so far they are. That's a sad part about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're gonna come up with an agreement. They're gonna change their agreement structure for virtualization technology. They have to, or else they're just going to be stuck in their old desktop one-on-one basis kind of a thing, or a volume licensing for a company. They're going to have to do something about virtualization, which they have they have like a basic one right now, like for Hyper-V, but as for mass virtualization and renting a Windows license, I'm pretty sure they're going to be doing something. It's probably going to be something like an Office 365 in the end.
But even Office 365, it's a hosted solution that no one can actually offer.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying that
it makes no sense. Yeah. Even the Hyper-V licensing, I'll tell you something because I experienced this. Okay, so the Hyper-V licensing for when you use a virtual key for Windows Server. Yeah, okay, yeah. So you buy Enterprise for like $5,000, you can use it 4 times on one host.
Yeah,
that makes no sense, because if you're in a virtualized environment, and especially Hyper-V offers live migration, so if you move that server to another server, you have to buy another enterprise license so it can be licensed on that server as well, which makes no sense. How are you supposed to gauge? How are you supposed to comply? Because it's all based on the honor system anyway, so there's no actual reporting. So the way that works is completely garbage. Like, there's one customer of mine who runs vSphere, has 2 hosts, and he wants to run he bought Enterprise, but he has to buy 2 times Enterprise because he can't run it on 2 different hosts, because otherwise he won't be complying with the licensing, which makes no sense. Because
it's a little stupid.
When you're buying one license and it says you can run it 4 times, you can implement like 4 virtual servers.
Yeah.
And then you can't run it on different hosts, but you still license it for that host. It makes no sense. You're still tying license to hardware, which makes no sense in this day and age. Even at that, I'll give you another good example. Another good example where, let's say for an enterprise, you have if you remote desktop to a terminal server. Okay, the terminal server is a server where you can remote desktop to, and it can accept a bunch of connections, and you have your own desktop, let's say, and you work on the server. So you share resources. So if you bring your you have your computer and you work, that's not a problem. Okay, at work. If you have an iPad at home and let's say you VPN and you remote desktop to that terminal server because you want to work on from your iPad, you can do that. But once you bring it into the business, like physically bring it in, the company has to pay a license for that iPad. Or even with iPhones, it's the same thing. But if you stick them out the window, you're not violating a license. And it's all based on...
Okay, just let me work on something here.
Exactly. It's completely crazy.
Yeah. I think they're gonna change something because they have to, because they're still in the majority of the licensing is still in that old one physical hardware to one logical OS.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
So they're gonna do. They have to. I mean, it just doesn't make sense that they're just gonna let it be like that. They're gonna have to restructure the way they license. I think they will. It's just a matter of time.
Because I'll let you know, the Microsoft licensing experts have no idea how licensing works. I'm going to tell you that right away. If you ask someone, they have no idea how anything works. Even right now, Microsoft has declined to comment publicly on Buell's desktop as on-demand service. It's it's like, how could you? You don't even know how your service works. You don't even know how licensing works.
Like I said, it's gonna change, man. I think they're probably gonna do something about it. They have to.
It's either that or Linux is gonna start ruling the enterprise, because Ubuntu is becoming more and more of a user-friendly solution.
I don't know about that.
Or mobile apps are gonna start taking over, and no one's gonna run Windows anymore, because it makes no sense to that.
Yeah, no, they're obviously gonna have to do something about virtualization, licensing, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a matter of time. Like anything, they have to evolve. Everyone has to evolve and be able to provide services, and obviously virtualization technology, and like you're pretty much renting a Windows machine. So I don't see them throwing away that business where they could be able to make money off of it. So I really don't see them tossing away the money for long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that comes up to the end of our podcast.
That's 40 minutes, I think, like 45 minutes or something.
No, we're at like an hour 10, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Oops.
But
that's what happens. That's what happens when you start talking. And
did you have a want or a get or a need?
I wanted something. What did I want?
I have a get. To everyone listening.
What's the get?
It's called the BlueStacks. If anyone understands, like BlueStacks app player for Windows is now beta. It's free. What it is?
Is it?
Yeah. So you can download this player. If you just Google BlueStacks app player for Windows.
Yeah, it's the first one. I just did it. It's the first one.
This thing will run Android apps on your Windows 7 or even Windows 8 Intel-based computer.
Nice.
It's x86 or x64. You can play Angry Birds Space for free right on your Windows PC. You could run all the apps, all the Android apps. Almost.
So there you go. Windows is the best. Thank you.
It's pretty cool.
It's cool. It is cool. It's awesome.
Mind you, it's kind of slow because it's not doing virtualization. It's doing emulation because it has to emulate the ARM architecture. But I'm looking at it right now, and I mean, I can play Angry Birds Space on my Windows PC, which is
nice.
It's pretty cool. If you want to test apps, if you want to see how things work.
Yeah, I'm gonna be. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I didn't know. Yeah, that's cool. That's a good get. A good get. That's a good get, Tim.
Get.
Yeah. Well, I want the Nokia Lumia 900 right now. Is something I want.
Still want it.
It's a want. That's still a want. I don't think I have an I am disappoint this week. I don't think I have one.
I'm disappointed with Apple, Nokia, and like all the companies like going crazy about the nano SIM, which we will talk about next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week. Nano controversy and all that stuff.
But that whole craziness, like, what a mess.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about that next week.
Yeah. So
Wednesday. We're going to be recording Wednesday, right?
We're going to be recording Wednesday.
Well, if you're healthy.
If nothing, if I don't get a disease or whatever.
Yeah, knock on wood there.
Yeah. So I mean, if anyone doesn't agree or agree with what we're saying, please email us tgtp1@hotmail.com. That's our email address. Yeah. That's it. So I guess that's it for this week.
Yeah, well, just make sure that you like us on Facebook. Recommend us for YouTube. Watch us on YouTube. I think we're just going to be doing the YouTube thing from now on. I think we're going to get rid of our SoundCloud thing, right?
I don't know. I like
unless people want to download our
I like people.
Sorry?
People can download our podcast and
Yeah, I like that.
That's a cool concept.
So now we'll I guess we'll just keep doing both for a while. And anyway, like us, comment, and stuff. Hate mail, nice mail, good mail, happy mail, Angry Birds,
space mail,
Angry Birds and space mail. So yeah, just do it.
Just do it. All right. All right. So I'm Timothy Matthews.
And I'm Vinny Masidi.
And we will talk to you next week.
Yep, take care.
All right. Ciao.
Ciao.